at first, it was everybody compared it. Oh, this is the funny Star Trek.
Right.
And I think now we are the Orville.
Hi, guys. Congratulations on the new season of The Orville.
Thanks, Eric. We're
Thank
lucky.
you.
So let's start off. Talk a little bit about where your characters are at the start of the season. I know you can't give away too many plot points, but just kind of give us a general sense and what sort of direction they're heading this season.
I would say, I love the name New Horizons because it says, Jaylee and I were talking. It's not just where we're going; it's us too. It's so I believe that Gordon is probably the only place he could go is a little bit more mature. He's wants to probably settle down, find a girl, and he's just doing his job. And he's on, the adventure with everybody else, and he's a part of this beautiful crew. And that's really all I can really say besides telling you what he actually physically does. But Gordon's, he's not as goofy as he used to be. He's part of the team now and knows the stakes.
Jaylee?
Yeah. And I think John, spent a lot of time and energy on this refit of the ship, the upgrade to the ship. Takes his job very seriously as a chief engineer now. And as you can see, when Isaac makes his choice, he kind of has the idea to bring him back or figure out maybe there's a way. There's some Isaac still left over. So I think it's a good place to start. And there's a lot of cool stuff in this season too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about working with Seth MacFarlane. I mean, he wears so many hats on the show. It's kind of his baby. Talk about maybe just an experience or something that sort of revealed something about working with him on the series that might give us some insight on what he's like.
I think he just pays extreme attention to every detail. Even when we shoot with Yaffe or a character that's not necessarily in frame, he always is so aware of where the camera needs to be, the frame, to allow room for that. But I think that's just a testimony to every aspect of the show is from his own mind. And he's just extremely methodical about getting it. And it's quite impressive, actually.
He's a perfectionist without it being annoying to us. Hold on, there we go.
Yeah.
You don't ever feel annoyed by because he knows almost better than you do how he wants your line said, your story to go, your character to be, because he created it. And your job is to make that happen for him. And he's a great director, first of all, never makes anybody feel uncomfortable. In fact, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So, it's weird to sit there and talk about someone that cares about the buttons on every shirt, but doesn't annoy anybody with it. You want to be there with him because you're like, oh, he wants this to be the best, and now so do I. So he kind of elevates everybody's job.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about where the show sits in this. There's Star Trek and Next Generation and all these great sci-fi shows. Talk about, the fans of the Orville are so passionate about it. Where do you think the show sort of sits in that sort of spectrum of great sci-fi shows?
I think it's at first it was everybody compared it. Oh, this is the funny Star Trek.
Right.
And I think now we are the Orville. We are our own show. Where it would sit, like Jaylee and I spoke, it's a hats off to these other shows. It is not stealing. It is not making fun of.
Mm-hmm.
It's its own thing, and that you can't buy that. How we got there, I have no idea, because we were fighting against it at first. People were obviously not haters, but they were going, "Oh God, Seth MacFarlane's farted version of Star Trek." No, it's always going to be its own thing. It did it quicker than I thought it would. So I really give the fans a good thank you for allowing it to become the show that we are, and that's the Orville.
Yeah. And I think it's impressive. I don't know how you make something in the space where there's already a bunch of stuff in that space. And so, you know, Seth cares about it, and he cares about this show. So I think it comes out. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do something in this space because there's so many things and so many people, and people care about this so much that you got to do it correctly.
Right. Yeah. So talking about your experience working on this season, I know you can't talk too much about the plot, but maybe tell us something a little bit about something that happened behind the scenes that you'll look back in 20 years and say, that's what it was like working on this season. Like just like a moment or something that happened for both of you.
For me, it would be, I don't even know if this is answering your question, but you saw we in episode 303, at one point I was out in the middle of a lake with two other actors, and it was just us because they were doing a drone shot, so nobody could be around. It was high up, showing us on this wooden boat. And it was this moment going, this is season 3 for me. Like, this is the scope of this. There's a drone 200 feet in the air that I can't even see, and I am alone on this.
Yeah.
And we're like, what are we doing? This is awesome. So I realized, the adventures of season 3 just felt different, smelled different, looked different. And I knew we were making something different.
Jay Lee?
I think mine in episode 301, when you see that shot where in engineering, it goes through the quantum core, and then we're up on the sort of terrace behind the quantum core. They had this 40, 50-foot crane. I forget the name of it. It was such an impressive shot set up, but it took a long time to set that shot up. But just an expensive, dope, beautiful shot that, you know, I got to set, and I'm like, wow, same thing Scott was talking about. Oh, I get to do this. You know, it was very cool.